Is that Lisa's new look? Yo. Oh wait, there's another girl with the... Okay, what was it called again? It's only been 2 months, I'm already forgetting some terms and stuff. Oh, this looks cool. Wait, this is getting exciting already. Hey girl. Yeah, leading. Wait, we're leading our own little army here? Alright, so off stream I did a little bit of setup, although I did not go into the prologue at all to test like video settings or anything. All I did was just change the settings available from the configuration and the main menu. But, oh boy, I applied Send Patcher, everything should be good, and to begin, we see Reen collapse on the ground right here. Although, let me lower the music just a touch here.
Here I go!
Huh.
Here I go!
Reen's voice is, Reen's voice got deeper.
Here I go!
Oh, damn!
Here I go!
Yeah, dude, Reen's voice got deeper. Holy shit. Alright, so because it's been 2 months since I beat Cold Steel 1, and just as a reminder, the little gap between Cold Steel 1 and 2, since I last streamed it, I was playing some other stuff that I wanted to play, but then also IRL stuff came up, along with, like I mentioned before, I got COVID and I had to deal with it for a while, so that kind of pushed everything back. But finally, after finishing Soul Hackers, here we are with Cold Steel 2. But before that, god damn it. But before that, we gotta catch up on our lore because it's been a little while. I mean, definitely not like 1.5 years from me playing Trails in the Sky first chapter to second chapter, and not like half a year? Was it? Like since actually no, I forget how much of a time gap there was between like second chapter and the third, then starting the crossbow games, and then going from 0 to Azure. But yeah, let's get a little refresher. This would be our part 0 here, so to say. Oh shit. Right, okay. How long are these summaries? Also, let me know if the sound is a bit too loud or not, if it feels like I'm trying to talk over the game. Although, if anything, maybe I will lower just like a touch. Okay, so the way to Thor's. Is this gonna be voiced?
The year was 1204 of the Septian calendar, and all across Erebonia spring was in bloom. At the esteemed Thor's Military Academy, situated on the outskirts of the Imperial capital, a new class was founded. It would be known as Class 7, and was comprised of 9 promising young men and women, who demonstrated considerable aptitude for Arcus, a sophisticated new type of battle ornament. Reen Schwarzer, son of a ruling lord from the remote region of Ymir. Elisa Reinford, daughter of the chairman of Erebonia's largest industrial corporation. Elliot Craig, son of a celebrated general and a kind-hearted boy who harbored dreams of becoming a musician. Laura S. Arcade, the daughter of a renowned military family tracing its lineage back to the Knights of old. Machias Regnitz, the son of Heimdall's imperial governor. Emma Milstein, the class's president and the Academy's highest scorer on the entrance exam.
To say nothing of her magical abilities that she's been keeping hidden from everyone except Reen, pretty much.
Eusis Albarea, son of Duke Albarea, head of one of the Empire's 4 great houses.
Although keep in mind, this is just like the prologue summary, because it'll get slowly revealed in like later chapters and stuff, so little bit by bit.
Fee Clausel, a former Jaeger with extraordinary strength and agility. And Gaius Warzel, an exchange student from the land of Nord, bordering the Empire to the north. Gathered together by their homeroom teacher, Sarah Wallerstein, they were put through a difficult trial.
Just as a reminder, our final Bond scene in Cold Steel 1 was with Sarah. Don't judge.
Some were quick to work together, others less so, but eventually all were able to surmount the challenge they faced. They were then asked to decide whether, knowing the difficulty of the curriculum, they still wished to be part of Class 7. Each had his or her own reasons, but each ultimately heeded the call, and that day, Thor's newest class began.
Alright, Chapter 1. Unconventional Studies.
April came, and while the students of Class 7 were already grappling with their challenging coursework, they received a sudden announcement that they were to take part in an unusual program, a series of field studies. The class would be split into 2 groups, each sent to a different location in the Empire to assist the local townships.
Oh, they don't voice this one, this part. Excuse me, or at least have like instructor Sarah voice like some other parts, you know, mix and match like some voices. What? Oh come on, you can't just have the narration go like that and just stop like that. Oh come on, you can't keep doing this to me, Falcom. Anyways, I guess I'll pick it up from here. Group A went to the rural town of Keldic, famous for the Grand Market. Through their tasks, they gained a greater understanding of one another, and all appeared to be going well on the surface. Oops, sorry about that. But that came to a sudden halt when they discovered that 2 market stalls had been vandalized during the still of night. Determined to find the culprit, Group A made their way to Lunaria Nature Park. They found and apprehended the group of bandits responsible, but were immediately surrounded by the provincial army, who turned out to be in league with the bandits all along. Just as the situation grew more dire by the second, the railway military police, led by the notoriously brilliant Captain Clare, swiftly arrived at the scene. It was thanks to their timely intervention that the provincial army was forced to retreat, and the bandits were duly arrested for their crimes. The very first field study now at an end, Group A boarded the train back to Trista and reflected on the events that transpired over the course of their stay. It was then that Reen confessed to his fellow classmates that he was the adopted son of a baron, a noble. Surprising though it may have been, not a single one among them thought any less of him for it. The evening concluded with smiles, each of them blissfully unaware of the 2 ominous figures who were watching their train head into the distance. Chapter 2. The Verdant City.
May came, filling the town of Trista with greenery. Meanwhile, Class 7's schedule was growing busier by the day. Reen found himself at odds with Machias for keeping his noble status a secret.
Yeah.
But he also learned more about his fellow classmates, including the fact that Emma was caring for a black cat named Celine.
Okay, let me just be a broken record for one more time. Why can't they just pay them a little more just to read the rest, please? Anyways, as the days passed, the time for their second field study arrived, and the newly organized Group A was assigned to Eustace's hometown of Bereahard. Also, I need to check something. I feel like something's off. No drop frames? Okay. I thought I saw something on OBS. This would hardly make the trip easy. However, as the utterly incompatible Eustace and Machias were forced to be part of the same team yet again, to the surprise of no one, the boys were bickering in record time. The trivial squabbles one after another resulted in a number of setbacks, something they became keenly aware of when one particularly heated argument resulted in Reen sustaining injury in battle. Despite these moments of frustration, they at least felt that they would be able to complete their assigned fully complete their assigned tasks. To add to the growing unpleasantness, however, they were given a stark reminder of how grave the tensions between the nobles and reformers factions were. When they discovered that the provincial army was greatly expanding its armaments. Hey, where are my Mishi plushes? I just remembered. Where's Eustace's Mishi plush? That ain't fair. Oh, wait. Oh! Wait, I gotta check something, after reading this. With neither of them able to get much sleep that night, Eustace revealed to Reen, that his background was less perfect than anyone in Class 7 realized. His mother was a commoner, making him the mere bastard son of Duke Alborea. Machias, overhearing this, stepped forward the next morning to make peace, and their field study finally seemed as if it would go smoothly. No sooner than had this reconciliation happened, was Eustace abruptly summoned to his home, leaving the rest of the group no choice but to proceed without him. They completed their morning tasks outside the city with little trouble, but immediately upon returning to Bereahard, Machias was arrested without probable cause by the provincial army. Reen, Emma, Fee agreed that rescuing him was to be their top priority. As the three were discussing how to go about that, they learned from a bracer passing through, Toval, our boy Toval, of a waterway that led precisely to where Machias was being held. Conveniently, the complex waterway led to quite a few places, including the Alborea mansion. They were soon reunited with Eustace this way, who had learned what happened and escaped from his home to set things right. As they approached a massive door, Fee, who revealed she was once a Jaeger, made the impassable easily passable with explosives, and they were able to successfully free Machias from his cell. On their way out, they were cornered by two large dog-like beasts from the military. However, thanks in no small part to Eustace and Machias forming a successful combat link, they emerged victorious. But the celebrations were short-lived, as they were surrounded yet again. Only this time, it was by the provincial army. Even having Eustace at their side gained them no sympathy. It was only when Eustace's older brother, Rufus, and instructor Sarah appeared that they were saved from peril. Group A's second field study had come to an end, but on a much less positive note compared to their first. On the train, they gloomily discussed the factional conflict Erebonia faced. Instructor Sarah attempted to cheer them up and succeeded, even if it was more because they were laughing at her than with her. Milio! Oh, sorry. Meanwhile, a mysterious young girl with a silver puppet nonchalantly watched them depart. Okay, before we go to chapter 3, I need to check something real quick. Was there any, like, funny cosmetic DLCs like the Mishy plush and stuff for Cold Steel 2? Hold on, I need this. Dude, casual clothes are $15? All ride-alongs? Oh no, the plushes and stuff are $4? What? No, I don't wanna, no. Oh. Wait, hold on. Oh, they have right along Tio, Ren, Estelle, Joshua, Michelle, and Evil Mishi. There's an Evil Mishi? What? Oh, the preview pictures show everyone else but the Evil Mishi. Wait a second. Hey, you can't do that to me. But yeah, wait. Oh man. What? Wait, let me double check. It was like free before and stuff, right? No. You can't do this to me. Wait. How did I already get the... Wait. Wait, how did I already get some of the packs and stuff? Wait, weren't they free when I picked those up? I don't remember spending money on the DLCs that I, like, what little DLCs that I got in Cold Steel 1. Wait. Am I going crazy? Huh. Well, okay, we can just put that aside for now. Wait. Because I would never, or at least I don't think I would ever buy DLCs like that. Cause like, it's just like your basic, like, oh here, have some mid-game accessories, but early, and shit. Like, I know better than that. No, it must have been. Otherwise, cause it was only like a particular chunk of DLCs that I got. Huh. Okay, yeah, no, I'm a little confused. Well, alright, let's just continue then. That DLC was free? Oh, it was free? Yeah, cause like on Steam, oh here, let me show the store page. Just let me, hold on real quick. Can just uninstall it later? No, no, like, no, I'm talking about Cold Steel 1, and it was just the, like, cosmetic stuff. Okay, wait, let me, whoop, hold on. Yeah. Cause like, I mean, I know it's like super small and stuff, but like, it's only like they were free, but now they cost something. If you guys know any different from Cold Steel 2, all the DLCs cost something, but they don't have, but like the ride-alongs and all that, they were like basically like all the DLCs they all cost something, which is confusing. I'm like, wait, cause I'm pretty sure I don't remember buying it. Because I know better than to actually buy that shit. But I don't know. Anyways.
June heralded the beginning of Class 7's first midterms, as well as the onset of Trista's rainy season.
Ah yes, the midterms where I forgot to interact with one random bookshelf and couldn't get the max possible score on the first playthrough. Oh wait. You remember a few sales where the DLC came, where the DLC was free? Oh, actually that makes more sense. Yeah, maybe they did make the some DLCs free. And some like the non-consequential stuff, like some free items and like random palm packs and stuff. Unfortunately, no free cosmetics for us except for the ride-along mission and all that. But man, now I can't just see the hilarious like scenes with like either people swimming with their Mishies attached to their shoulders, or like you see Eustace, but then you see Eustace sleeping with the Mishi plush. Oh man.
In the midst of this, the Rhineford family's maid, Sharon, was appointed as caretaker of Class 7's dormitory.
Oh yeah, Sharon.
And with her came the revelation that Elisa was the daughter of the Rhineford Company's chairman.
And another revelation that I found out super early with no basis for my claims, but I was totally right in the end, by the way. All performing to the best of their abilities, Class 7 scored better in the midterms than any other class. This news didn't go down well with the nobles of Class 1, of course, and the besmirched upper class students challenged Class 7 to a duel. Elisa R stands for racing. Ah, when are we gonna get trails of racing? I mean, Reen's got his motorcycle, and I don't know who else even knows how to drive at this point. I could totally see Agate on a motorcycle as well. I wonder how he's doing after all this time. Class 7 was victorious here as well, leading to a tirade of insults from Patrick Hyams that were only stopped by Gaius' interference. The time had come for Class 7 to prepare for the next field study, and Group A's latest destination was the Nord Highlands, Gaius' homeland. The journey was exceptionally longer than anywhere they had been previously, and while they briefly stopped at Ruhr Station, they encountered Elisa's mother, Chairman Irina. After a grueling 8-hour journey, they finally reached the Nord Highlands to the northeast. It was plain to see how Gaius had grown up with endless patience and kindness upon meeting his family, who gave Group A a warm welcome. After a night's sleep, they took off on horseback to begin working. The Highlands were as vast as they were beautiful, and their time spent there was both challenging and rewarding in equal measure, I mean. Bleh. During their stay, they also happened to meet the former chairman of the Rhineford group, Gwyn Rhineford, Elisa's grandfather, also pervert. At night, while gazing at the stars together, Elisa privately told Reen about the discord between her and her mother, as well about when she lost her father. Gloomy as her expression was in the beginning, she felt a weight being lifted off her shoulders the longer they talked. It was soon replaced by her usual sweet smile. Unfortunately, the night ended with her cheeks turning red as their uniforms, when she realized their classmates had overheard part of her and Reen's conversation. The next morning, they were informed that the watchtower surveying the border of Calva Republic had come under attack. The previously peaceful highlands suddenly became tense, with airships from both sides ominously circling the skies. Knowing that war could break out over a misunderstanding at any moment, Group A motioned to conduct their own inquiry into the true culprits responsible. Milliam! They found out just who those culprits were from an unlikely source, Milliam, the strange girl accompanied by the silver puppet. It was her help that made their capture swift and decisive, although the man pulling the strings known as G, or Gideon, managed to make his escape. Hey Lecter. How you doing? Thanks to both Group A and the efforts of the Intelligence Division's Captain Lecter, war was successfully averted. Captain Lecter quickly learned to take control of the situation and just as quickly left, taking Milliam with him. It was then discovered that she was also from the Intelligence Division. Later that evening, Sarah and Sharon both witnessed G and a masked man departing on a jet black airship. The next morning, Group A bade a sad farewell to Gaius' family and Gwyn. Their field study was over. They left the They left the land of Nord behind, knowing full well that the experience had been one they would never forget. Chapter 4: A Midsummer's Revels.
July had come, and preparations were underway for Heimdall's month-late celebration of the Summer Festival. At the Academy, the addition of swimming lessons to the schedule put a spring into the step of Reen and his friends.
And after instructor, what was his name, Reinhardt, I think, gave the boys a particularly rough swimming lesson to not get shown up by the girls in a hidden side quest, by the way. It's like, think of your masculinity, you can't have the girls out, do you? I need to whip you boys into shape. Get to the swimming pool. That side quest was gold. And then there was a follow-up later on that I believe Instructor Sarah said, it's like, hey, Instructor Reinhardt gave you and the boys extra lessons, huh? It's like, how will you tell us what the instructor told you to the other girls as well? That little sub-series of side quests was pretty stupid. I love it.
However, Laura and Fee's already strained relationship was reaching a breaking point.
Was it? Oh, Nightheart? Oh, is it Nightheart or right? Oh, Nightheart. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. Again, even if it's only been 2 months, my memory's already been jumbled up with trying to remember people's names. Thanks for reminding me. So Nightheart. What are some other names I'm trying to remember right now? I mean, there's like the character profiles that we can kind of glance over to get a reminder after we do all this reading.
A surprise visit from Elise, Reen's younger sister, led to an argument between the adoptive siblings. And when Reen saw her in danger soon after, he lost control of a strange power that dwelt within him.
Oh yeah, Demon Reen, or however you want to call that form, because I don't believe there's like a official name as of yet when Reen can do that.
Fortunately, Crow stepped in to help, and ultimately, no one was harmed in the incident.
The time came for the month's field study. Unlike past field studies, both groups were assigned to the same location, the Erebonian capital of Heimdall. They worked their way through the task given to them by Governor Regnitz, Machias' father. And as a show of strength by Elliot, led Laura and Fee to settle their differences through a formal duel. After the battle, Fee revealed that the Jaeger Corps she belonged to was among the strongest and was called Zephyr. After opening up to one another, their uncomfortable feud seemed to be put to rest once and for all, much to Machias' and Reen's joy and pain soon after they got their asses kicked. The next day, a visit to Machias' house led him to reveal some of his own past. Machias concluded his story by telling him his classmates that his hate for the nobility was slowly subsiding, something everyone warmly welcomed. Now back to work, Class 7 received a series of frustrating and obtuse riddles from the famed Phantom Thief B, challenging them to find something he had delightfully stolen, the Crimson Tiara. Undaunted, they rose to the challenge, and once they had recovered the tiara, they received a call from Instructor Sarah. She asked them to gather at St. Astraea Girls' School, the school that young Elise attended. They even met with Elise before the gates of St. Astraea, and she elegantly led them to the stunning indoor rose garden. More stunning than the rose garden, however, was the sight of the princess of Erebonia, often Rice Arner. Even Prince Oliver, chairman of Thor's board of directors, came to meet them. That night, the prince informed them of the reasons that their class was put together. He explained his desire to cultivate the youth of tomorrow, who could overcome the conflicts in the world. That is a missed opportunity to save barriers. Nah, just kidding. However, he warned that the other directors have their own ideas on what they want from Class 7. It was for that reason they were all left pondering harder than ever about what they could and should do as a class. Several other strange conversations followed, such as when they found out Sarah had once been a bracer, or how Reen was invited to be Alphen's dance partner only to reject her. And finally, they were asked to help with an important mission by Captain Claire. Specifically, they were asked to help with security for the festival, which was believed to be the target of the terrorists. The next morning, they began the patrols of the festival as requested. The parade came to an end without incident, but just as they thought they were in the clear, chaos erupted in Draco's Plaza. Chaos? Reen and friends quickly realized this was a diversion, and leaving Towa in charge, they hurried to Princess Alphen's side. Upon arriving, they found the garden party where she was in attendance, under attack by the terrorists. The attack was led again by G, and Princess Alphen and Elise were both taken hostage. Reen's party pursued them beneath the city. G summoned a mighty bone dragon, and while quite the challenge, they were able to defeat it. Though the dragon may have fallen, 3 more members of the terrorist group made their appearance: V, S, and their leader, C. Sorry about that. C challenged Reen, Laura, and Fee to a duel, and his victory proved both swift and effortless. It wasn't long before the railway military police found their way into the catacombs as well, and the terrorists fled the scene, triggering an explosive in the process. As they made their escape, they finally announced their organization's name, the Imperial Liberation Front. The 3-day-long festival came to an end, and I'm getting... excuse me. And Class 7 readied themselves to return to Trista. They were seen off by Princess Alphen, Elise, Governor Regnus, and Crown Prince Cedric. You know, we haven't really seen much or we haven't really heard too much from Cedric in Cold Steel 1. I hope we see more of him or see him do more stuff in Cold Steel 2. I mean, knowing Falcom, I have high confidence that we'll definitely see more from him probably, but yeah, can't wait. But before they could leave, an unexpected man arrived to also bid them farewell. It was the Blood and Iron Chancellor Gileath Osborne, the man behind driving the Bracer Guild for most of Erebonia. Disregarding that Sarah was clearly not happy to see him, he gave his own encouragement to Class 7, telling them, "Nurture the bonds you share, and train up bodies and wills of steel." As he spoke, Green felt an aching in the left side of his chest, causing Elise to look on with concern. Chapter 5: Signs and Omens.
The heat of August beat down upon Trista, but none of Class 7's nobles elected to return home, as was their right. So it was that all were present to greet 2 surprising mid-year additions to the class.
That I called right on the spot.
The first was a familiar face. Second-year student Crow Armbrust was forced to join their ranks in order to make up credits.
Although, no, I didn't call Crow exactly, but I was like, with how obvious Sarah was making it, I was like, hey, guess what, guys? Like, what, we got new classmate? And Crow's like, yo, what's up, guys? But hey, that's not all. I was like, another student. I was like, who could it possibly be between all the people we met so far? Because this is like the 5th chapter. I was like, Milliam? And then it was. And I'm like, I'm fucking godlike.
While the second, young Milliam Orion, was an operative from the intelligence division they had met in Nord.
I still can't believe I called that shit. Oh. And of course, Crow's still sleeping. Contrary to expectations, it wasn't long before Milliam fit in so well. It was as if she had always been there. Disregard the random holes in the walls after Lammy punched that Lammy punched in. The time for the next field study came, and Group A was sent to Laura's hometown of Legrand. Once they completed their field study task, they were instructed to meet with Group B and travel to Gorelia Fortress. Oh wow, I guess we're just really skimming over Legram, huh? I mean, I guess like not super important to know in the greater context of Cold Steel, but yeah. Oh no 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 no. They just said that. They just meant to say that afterwards we go to Guerrilla. Never mind. I'm stupid because yeah, a lot of important shit happened in Legram. What am I saying? In Legram, they were reunited with Toval and helped to train several Arsate school students. Reen also had the chance to duel Laura's father, Viscount Ersaid, also widely known as the Radiant Blade Master. The Viscount had sensed Reen's fear of using his hidden abilities and forced him into utilizing them anyway. And through this, he taught him the importance of accepting yourself for who you are. The next day, the noble faction's leader, Duke, how do you pronounce that again? Kayan? Kayan, right? Paid a surprise visit to the town. Troubled by recent developments in the faction, Viscount Ersaid left the ground with Toval, and Group A was left to look after the town while completing their remaining tasks. Excuse me. That night, they had to travel to a nearby castle to rescue two young children who had wandered inside its perilous corridors. Oh wait, isn't it pronounced Cayenne? Oh, is it Cayenne? I don't remember, because like, when I see like C-A-Y, I think K, not Kai. Okay, I'll take your word for it since you've played the rest of the Cold Steel games. Like the pepper. Okay, I'll try to remember that, although I've been pronouncing it as K, like Duke Kayan for so long that I think I might say it just like out of habit, so it's gonna take a while to readjust to that. Thanks to Emma's knowledge of the occult and the timely aid of a mysterious knight, for a certain trips to Azure, they managed to do so. The next morning, they departed Legram as per their schedule and made their way to Kellic Station to meet with Group B. There, they saw a special train taking Chancellor Osborne and Prince Oliver to the trade conference in Crossbell. To Reen's surprise, he saw it pass in slow motion. Just like conveniently plot-wise, like their eyes linked for just like a split second, but in slow motion. It's like, we see each other. Okay. You can clearly see Osborne, Oliver, and Toa on board. The two groups reunited soon thereafter, finally making their way towards Gorelia Fortress. The fortress stood as a vast wall between Erebonia and its longtime enemy, the Kava Republic, while also possessing the two huge railway guns capable of targeting Crossbow City, which stands between the two. Upon arriving, they were shown inside by Major Neidhart, and their military science instructor at the academy, and they soon met Elliot's father, Lieutenant General Craig, and witnessed a military exercise. They were stunned by the overwhelming power the weaponry on display possessed, and in the end, each of them left with a sinking feeling that all the combat skills they were learning at Thor's were for naught. Once they recovered from the shock of yesterday's events, they were given a lecture by Sarah and Neidhart. They were soon bombarded with the news that of terrorists attacking Crossbell, specifically the site of the trade conference. And no sooner had they heard this did the fortress itself come under attack by out of control unmanned tanks. This was followed by the arrival of two black airships belonging to the Imperial Liberation Front. Amid the chaos, Class 7 resolved to aid Sarah and Neidhart in subduing the terrorists. They learned their aim was to activate the two railway guns and use them to attack the trade conference, and that by doing so they intended to bury Chancellor Osborne, with little concern over how many innocents died with them. After a fierce battle, Group A defeated S, now known as Scarlet, as one of the terrorist executives. Meanwhile, Group B defeated V, revealed to be Vulcan, and together they were able to prevent the worst-case scenario. Regrettably, both terrorist executives were allowed to escape by the sudden arrival of an airship, and the voice of their leader, C, delivered a chilling warning of their next attack before the airship took to the skies. Okay, we're almost there. Progressive chaos.
In September, Thor's board of directors convened for their regular meeting. The 3 directors, each related to a member of Class 7, debated how the Academy ought to be run. They ended up voting on whether Class 7 would continue their field studies in light of the events at Gorelia Fortress. Prince Olivert delivered a rousing speech in favor of their continuation. And in the end, all 3 directors consented, paving the way for September's field study to go forward.
Meanwhile, all of Thor's was in the midst of preparing for the Academy Festival that was scheduled for the end of October. And Class 7 was struggling to think of something they could do for it with their small numbers. Eventually, inspiration came to them in the form of a hint from Toa. Their contribution would be a live musical performance on stage, which also got me copyright claimed on that specific part in my VODs, by the way, that I tried disputing, but then they manually claimed it. So I'm a little bit mad about that. So I can't do shit. The day came for the next field study to begin, and they were summoned to the Academy field. Once there, they heard an unusual, surprising sound. A crimson airship hovered above them. Its name was the Courageous, and notably on board were Prince Olivert, Toval, and its captain, Viscount Airsade. It was decided that Class 7 was to be taken to their field study locations by airship, and everyone stepped on board. After the Courageous was shown off to the people of Heimdall, it flew to Ruhr, where Group A alighted. Ruhr was a large industrial city home to the Reinford Group's corporate HQ and Reinford family residence. Once there, they set about working through the tasks Elise's mother, Irina Reinford, gave them. But later that day, they came upon a dire conflict between the provincial army and the railway military police. Rufus and Captain Claire's appearance prevented things from escalating further, but it was clear that something was amiss. That night, Elisa's mother was forced to cancel dining with them, irritating Elisa to no end. Elisa later revealed to Reen more about her family and her concerns relating to Irina's destructive work ethic. No sooner had they finished speaking did Reen receive a call from Captain Claire, who asked if the two could meet privately at a nearby bar, and then Fee tried to sneak up following Reen but got caught anyways because we knew better. He agreed, but not before escaping Fee's notice. Wait. Not before escaping Fee's notice. Oh yeah. Reen spotted her as he left the building, and the two decided to meet Captain Claire together. The captain informed them of conflicts within the Reinford group, as well as expressed how there was a chance the RMP could personally investigate the matter. The next morning, along with their new field study task, Class 7 agreed to look into the matter of the conflicts themselves. While they were doing so, a more pressing problem arose: a fire at a military factory in town. And no sooner had that been resolved did they receive word that that terrorist had occupied Saxon Iron Mine. The provincial army sealed the mine off under the pretext of protecting the hostages from being harmed. But it was clear to all that their true aim was to stop the railway military police from going inside. While Group A pondered their options, Angelica and George arrived in the city after a long bike ride. Angelica believed her family was involved in all this, and that she had a duty to stand up and fight. They all agreed to help her, and Elisa went to see her mother to try and find another way into the mine. Irina, seeing her daughter's newfound determination, gave them a keycard, allowing them to sneak into the mine. They traveled through an underground passage connecting Ruhr and the mine and began searching for the miners. Partway through the mine, they found most of the hostages, and Crow volunteered to take them back to the surface with him. Thanks to George's guidance, they eventually reached the central control room where they found Vulcan. He revealed that he had once been a Jaeger, one that Fee herself knew of. They defeated him, but the terrorist leader C appeared. Unlike their first bout in Heimdall, however, Group A was finally able to best C in battle. After much pain because of the 2 freaking ads that constantly field-wide stunned everyone because I didn't adequately equip accessories on everyone. However, C managed to escape, and in their place rose the familiar sight of the terrorist black airship. That moment, the RMP and Provincial Army made their way in, but they immediately began bickering amongst themselves. C's derisive words filled the area as the airship rose upwards, and were all of a sudden replaced by the sound of a gunshot. Its engine hit, the airship exploded into a violent mess midair before their eyes. The Provincial Army saw this as a vital chance to take control of the scene, but those hopes were quickly dashed when Prince Oliver intervened. He effortlessly took command and ordered a full investigation into what happened, and any and all disputes were effectively dissolved. In addition, Captain Clara and Sharon had a cryptic conversation that very same night. A cryptic conversation about who it was that shot the bullet and all that stuff. And also this type of gun used as well. Very suspicious. Motherfucker! Oh wait. The following includes some of the content from the drama CD that can be perused for free at trailsofcoldsteel.com. Wait, free? Oh yeah, wait, this is the intermission that was skipped over because that was the the summer/beach episode that they didn't put into the game. Right. Oh, I forgot to listen to that.
At the close of September, Class 7 was summoned to Valflame Palace in Heimdall.
Yeah, because like we started off with this, but I believe Class 7 went to... did they go to Ymir for their vacation, or was it or was there someplace else? I don't remember. But anyways, they went somewhere, but we didn't get any of that. It's all the potential cool fan service as part of like the intermissions go and all that. No, I'm like, what? I'm disappointed. But I need to remember that later. I need to go listen to that.
There they were to be recognized for their bravery at both Guerrilla Fortress and the Saxon Iron Mine. It turned out their presence had been requested by none other than the Emperor of Erebonia himself, Eugent III. They were granted an audience with him, Empress Priscilla, Princes Olivert and Cedric, and Princess Alfin. During their visit, they also encountered Chancellor Osborne and Governor Regnitz, as well as the heads of the 4 great houses, Dukes Alborea and Cayenne, and Marquis Ragnar and High Arms.
Emperor Eugen invited them to take a short vacation in a hot springs town which has ties to the Imperial family. That town was none other than Ymir, where Reen grew up. Oh, yeah. So this is the part that we didn't get. It was the onsen stuff. I'm like, bro. Yeah, it wasn't like the beach stuff. No, yeah. Dude, the fucking onsen stuff. Like, come on. You can't do me dirty like this. They went by special train followed by cable car for the last leg of the trip, and soon they found Ymir, which was full of fall foliage. Upon arriving, they were shown to the Phoenix Wings. They were shown to the Phoenix Wings, a gift from the Imperial family, where they would stay for the duration of their trip. They left their belongings in their rooms, then held a meeting to figure out everyone's roles in the concert for the Academy Festival. And while some members of the group had objections, everyone eventually agreed to Reen, Elliot, and Crow's various proposals. Afterwards, Reen was reunited with his father, Baron Theo Schwarzer, and his mother, Lucia Schwarzer. They were not related to him by blood, but they welcomed him as warmly as any biological parents would. Reen's father gave him a letter from Master Ka-Fai, which seemed aware that Reen was still hesitating. All his classmates could do was watch over him as he continued to do so. That night, after his classmates had gone to bed, Reen received a surprising request from Angelica. She told him that her father forced her to withdraw from the academy, and as a parting gift, she asked him to accept her oral bike. Unsure what to do, he was unable to answer immediately, and decided to think about it in the open-air bath. Talking to Laura and Elisa there eased his spirits, but as they spoke, he saw something that shocked. You know, It was snow. Something he wouldn't have expected to see in early October. Oh, it was snow. Okay. Snow continued to fall heavily well into the following morning, suggesting that something was amiss. Reen decided to find out what. In some ways, Reen took this as a chance to overcome a similar traumatic experience that occurred 8 years prior. His classmates happily accompanied him without a second thought. Soon enough, they encountered a giant monster made of ice. After a fierce battle, they defeated it and came face to face with Blue Blanc of Orbo. What? Wait. This is all still in a mirror, right? Wait, what? Or giant ice monster? Yeah. He was fascinated in the many mysteries surrounding Reen, even going so far as to taunt him. But Reen refused to be taken in by such pettiness, and Blue Blanc was forced to retreat. In the end, they were able to stop the strange snow and Ymir returned to Ymir unharmed. And as Baron Schwarzer bade farewell to them, he handed his son a scroll that he had received from Master Ka-Fai. It was an 8 leaves, 1 blade, intermediate level scroll, which would give Reen a new target to work for. They said their farewells and finally left for the trip back to the academy, with Reen feeling as though they had all grown greatly as a result of the experience. Oh, wait, was that like a canonical way to explain how Reen acquired like new skills from the 8 leaves, 1 blade school and stuff? Like, you know, like the what was it? Gale and like whatever other new attacks we got. I mean, that was like their way of explaining, okay, you know what, cool. Actually, no, wait, what are the different forms again? Oh my god, I'm forgetting like, even Reen's basic skill set, because slowly I kind of phased them out of my team. Alright, final chapter. Put to the test.
Safely back from their brief trip to Ymir, Reen and his classmates began practicing for their upcoming concert. Under the watchful eyes of Elliot and Crow, they put all they had into their practice sessions.
And I got my copyright claim on YouTube.
And thanks in part to the fact that they weren't all complete amateurs, they were finally ready to perform.
The time came for the preparatory day before the festival. Reen chose a classmate to accompany him to collect the finished outfits from a boutique in Heimdall. But walking out with the outfits in tow, he ran into someone he wasn't expecting to see. It was the famous opera singer Vita Clotilde, also known as the Azure Diva. Although Reen was more familiar with her as Misty, the host of a radio program broadcast in Trista. Having met her once already, Reen took the chance to invite her to attend the festival and watch their concert. The time finally came for the 2-day-long festival to begin. Reen spent the first day helping the student council visiting attractions with classmates in his spare time. Also with instructor Sarah. And as the day came to an end, Class 7 gathered for a final meeting to discuss the concert being held the next day. During the discussions, however, they heard the sound of a bell chiming from far away. Oh, are they gonna say the word? The source of the chiming turned out to be the old schoolhouse that they had become so well acquainted with. Given permission by Sarah and Principal Van Dyke, they descended to the lowest floor, and each and every one of them were stunned by its new appearance. What? They didn't make a remark about how it's surrounded by a barrier? What? Oh. Guided by Emma and Celine, who seemed to know something, they resolved to restore the building back to normal. Eventually, they found themselves in what could be only described as an otherworldly battlefield, face to face with a monstrous black shadow. After a challenging battle, they are able to defeat it, overcoming the trial that it represented. And here I thought this would be the final part of the game, which I was very, very mistaken. They were transported and knocked out in the aftermath, but once they opened their eyes, they discovered the building was back to normal. Suddenly, a door that was before them opened. On the other side stood a giant humanoid. A 7 arg or arg, I don't remember, tall, ash-colored knight. The next day, the second day of the festival began. Ree managed to put the knight out of his mind enough to focus on showing Elise, who had come to visit around the academy campus. During that afternoon, the time finally came for the concert. Each of them gave their all to the performance, and they were able to finish both songs. When the audience feverishly called for an encore, Class 7 was more than prepared to perform a third. During the third song, the audience was invited to sing along, and the concert proved to be an immense success, putting Class 1 in their place. After the concert, the after-party began. Reen thanked Crow for all that he had done for him. Encouraged by Elise, Reen also decided to spend some one-on-one time with someone close to them. Instructor Sarah, in my plaything. Unfortunately, the party was brought to an abrupt end by the shocking proclamation from Principal Van Dyke. He appeared to tell them that Guerrilla Fortress to the east had vanished, without a trace. Reduced to atoms. A week has passed since then, and the air in Erebonia was more tense than ever before. Yeah. Although, you gotta wonder from here, how did the Imperial Chronicle get the photo from this angle? Because this is in Crossbell's Belgard Gate, I think. Was it Belgard or what was the other gate called on the east side of Crossbell? Either way, how did the reporters get up this high above Belgard Gate, especially with the bridge out of commission? Did they have like a little like drone that they can like use to like pilot and take a picture with? The other one was Tangram Gate. Oh yeah, Tangram Gate. Yeah. It was concluded that the fortress's disappearance was due to an attack caused by Crossbell State. Well, I mean, sorta, well, not really by the state, but a certain organization within Crossbell State. And it was, well, I mean, technically, well, it's complicated. Well, not really. And it was shortly announced that Chancellor Osmond would be making a speech to the nation at noon. Reen and his classmates chose to listen to the speech through a radio in their classroom. Only Crow was missing, having supposedly gone to Heimdall to hear the speech in person. Uh-huh. And here I slowly realized I was a fucking dumbass. The time for the speech finally came. Osborne's words were forceful and provocative, making it clear that it would end in a declaration of war. Well, yes, but actually no. Yeah. And not just against Crossbell, but against the Cavalry Republic as well, who was believed to be backing the state. However, just as he was about to make that decisive declaration, the sound of a gunshot resounded throughout the skies of the capital. The left side of Osborne's chest was pierced. He had collapsed to the ground in a pool of his own blood. The two spectators let out terrified screams as they watched in horror. The sniper who shot them was none other than C, the Imperial Liberation Front leader, who was believed to have met his end in Ruhr. And his true identity was revealed to be a former member of Class 7. Crow Armbrust. And for some reason, I didn't make the connection the whole fucking game of C and Crow. And I'm like, I'm stupid. And I didn't even think about the times where he was mysteriously gone or conveniently left out of the picture as we were focusing on the more immediate concerns in the story. So, again, I'm dumb. Meanwhile, the students of Thors were able to witness the whole string of events through the radio broadcast. At first they were merely listening to what was happening, but then Misty spoke directly to them. After she spoke, the classroom was filled with the echo of an eerie chant, and a window into what was happening had appeared before them. Emma shared the details about Vita, the Witch of the Abyss, whom she described as something a sister to her. However, they were all too shocked by what was happening to pay any real attention to her words. As they watched the glimmering visions of the capital before them, a giant silver airship appeared from above the clouds. From it began to fall countless humanoids, all which immediately set about taking over the city. They were 7 arc tall knights known as Panzer Soldats, made with modern orbital technology. The Noble Alliance had built them some time in advance, all in preparation for this day. The Soldats used their incredible mobility to overwhelm the main battle tanks guarding Heimdall. And in no time at all, they reached Valflame Palace, making their occupation of the city complete. In command of that operation were members of Zephyr, the Jaeger Corps that Fee once belonged to. Nearby, Vita Clotilde stood on top of Heimdall's opera house, blissfully watching the Silver Ark descend upon the palace. She was met by Blue Blanc, who praised her work, addressing her as Ouroboros' second, I forget, was it Angus or Angus? I forget. With an elegant smile, she accepted his words, then confidently issued a proclamation. The bells are tolling for Crossbell, and preparations here are complete. Still, even this grand undertaking is but a jewel in a greater crown. The second stage of the Orpheus final plan. The symphony awaits us. Let the second movement commence. Meanwhile, Reen and his classmates weren't allowed much time to process what they had just seen. Not long after their window on Heimdall closed, they realized that Soldats were fast approaching Trista 2. Sarah, Neidhart, the principal, and several other instructors defended the west exit valiantly. Eventually, they received the aid of Sharon, who revealed herself to be an enforcer of Ouroboros. And I called it at the very beginning, even though I had no information to back that up, but come on! You have someone look as unique as Sharon just come up all of a sudden. Come on, that screams like Ouroboros to me. While they still had their hands full, another group of Soldats began approaching from east of the town. As such, Class 7 resolved to protect the east exit themselves. The battle for Trista began. At first, Class 7 fought against a Draken Soldat, and by aiming for its joints, they emerged victorious. But in a sad twist of fate, they were powerless to defeat the much stronger Spiegel unit the Terrace Scarlet was piloting. Reen resolved to use the power deep within him as a last resort. Dost thou desire the power? But before he could, he heard a voice resound in his mind. He was standing in a strange empty space. Before him stood Celine, who urged him to call the voice's name. Loudly and clearly, he did just that. Heed my call, Valimar, the Ashen Knight! With a bang, The humanoid that they found in the old schoolhouse came flying through the air towards them. It landed, and Reen entered its core along with Celine. Although he had never seen the inside of such a thing before, he instinctively knew how to pilot it, and with that knowledge he was able to easily beat Scarlet Spiegel. The air was filled with the cheers of his classmates, but they were soon silenced by a familiar voice. Whoa, hold up just a sec, aren't you forgetting something? It came from above. The source of the voice was a large blue humanoid, one similar to the Divine Knight Reen was piloting. It was the Azure Knight, Ordine, piloted by none other than Crow. Reen despaired at the thought of having to fight him after all the time they had spent together. He tried whatever he could to reason with him, desperately attempting to avoid any further conflict. Yet Crow refused to listen, and with a wry smile, he declared that the Crow Reen thought he knew was never real. Although, during the little final talk, there's a little, expression or thing that we saw on Crow's end that he was kind of feeling emotional, but kind of, swallowed that and basically, committed to what he's done and where he's going. So actually, that kind of, at least with how I interpreted it, unless I'm really misinterpreting that moment, that really felt sad. Nonetheless, Reen made one last-ditch attempt at trying to change his mind. So that's the plan if you win, huh? What about if I win? Reen trusted that Crow would come back to him and the rest of Class 7 if he proved victorious, and a battle between the two Divine Knights began. The power of Crow's Azure Knight was immense, but Reen fought back as hard as he could, and he found himself able to fight on equal terms, Finally, Reen saw the decisive opening he'd been searching for. A lighted domination. The Azure Knight fell to its knees from the impact of Valimar and Reen's attack. His classmates cried out with relief, but that relief was not to last. The next moment, the Azure Knight transformed, surging with mana. It drew closer to the Ashen Knight. Reen was stunned. All it took was a single hit from Ordine to send him flying backwards, defeated. His consciousness began to fade, and all he could do was wince in fear as the Azure Knight approached. No, you don't. Without hesitation, his classmates stood between him and Ordine in a protective stance. They didn't have a chance of defeating it, but they were determined not to let it draw any closer to Reen. Together, they resolved to buy him the time to escape, believing that he could one day bring the war to an end. Reen tried to protest, but Celine ordered Valimar to retreat from the area. Reen cried out an objection, his consciousness growing ever fainter. Also, as a little extra tidbit here, depending on who you have your final bond scene with within Class 7, or is it among the girls in particular, or is it just among anyone within Class 7? But yeah, you get a little zoom in on them as Reen zooms away in Valimar. However, because I chose Instructor Sarah, who is on the west exit, we never got any of that. So I'm like, oh, right. And then they all died? Nah, and then Crow, out of the kindness of his heart, spared them all within an inch of their lives. From outside, one of his close friends bade him a private farewell. About that, we didn't get there because I chose Instructor Sarah. Look, don't judge. It was clear from their voice how much they cared for him, how prepared they were to face anything, even death. Finding back tears, Reen cried out to them as the Ashen Knight took to the sky. All he could do was watch from above as a hopeless battle began. No! They need me! Let me stay! His cries resounded endlessly throughout the crimson sky. Betrayers of Cold Steel. The end. Yep. And now we should be all caught up with the events of Cold Steel. I mean, I actually did need a bit of a refresher myself because it's been 2 months And again, IRL complications and some other commitments kind of came up pushing it back. Also, me doing Soul Hackers. Speaking of, August 25, Soul Hackers 2, I'm still doing that. Even if it's gonna take me a long ass time to get through Trails of Cold Steel as it is with every other Trails game, with how thoroughly I go through it, I will do my best to do simultaneous playthroughs of Cold Steel 2 and eventually Soul Hackers 2, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna take me a long ass time to finish this game. Anyways, character profiles. Alright. So wait, how detailed is this? So, Rean Schwarzer, the protagonist of Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, as well as a member of Class 7. Rean is the adopted son of Baron Schwarzer, the ruling lord of Emir and in northern Erebonia. Okay, yeah, there's obviously more. Although now an intermediate level practitioner of the Eastern 8 Leads 1 Blade School, there's a point in his life where he feared a strange power within him, resulting in him intentionally fighting at less than his full potential. His time spent with Class 7 helped him overcome that fear. Trails of Cold Steel comes to a close when Rean is chosen to pilot a giant robot who goes by Valimar, the Ashen Knight. Together they managed to repel the Noble Alliance forces attacking the Academy, but they were ultimately defeated when a former classmate piloting a robot known as the Azure Knight arrived at the scene. Rean and Valimar were forced to retreat. Elisa Reinford, the daughter of the chairman of the Reinford Group, Erebonia's largest heavy industry manufacturer. Like Rean, she belongs to Class 7. She can be somewhat critical towards others, but she's considerate at heart, and her natural naivety leaves her unable to abandon those in need. A hard worker, she is determined to find out her own path in life without being reliant on her mother, as the two had trouble getting along with one another. At the end of Trails of Cold Steel, she chose to stay behind with the rest of Class 7 to buy Rean the time to escape. Her whereabouts are currently unknown. Also, oh boy. Oh shit. We got a long way to go. Okay, maybe it's time to speed read. Also, I just noticed the toast in Fee's mouth. Elliot Craig, the son of Craig the Red, a famous military general, a brilliant musician. Elliot initially wanted to study at a music academy, but he was forced to abandon that dream in favor of enrolling at Thor's military academy after fierce objections from his father. He was something of a coward in the beginning, but overcoming countless trials as a member of Class 7 allowed him to become much more dependable. And he began to see his enrollment into Thor's in a much more positive light. At the end of Trails of Cold Steel, he chose to stay behind with the blah blah blah, let Rean escape. I assume for the rest of Class 7 that last page is going to be the same for everyone. So Laura S. Airsaid, the daughter of Viscount Airsaid, the head of a famous military family in Erebonia. Like Rean, she fights using a sword, and the similarities in that regard have led them to become good friends. Ah yes. Nothing like fellow swordsmen and swordswomen getting along with each other. And then I just struck a Sarah over Laura. Honestly, like, I was really conflicted with who to choose for the final bond scene. I was really conflicted. While generally proud and possessing an open mind, she had a difficult time accepting things that strayed just too far from her personal sense of justice. This was changed by meeting the former Jaeger Fee. Once she accepted their vastly different lifestyles, she was able to mature greatly as a person. Much like the rest of her classmates, they had to stay behind. Yeah. So, Machias Regnitz, the son of influential reformist figure Imperial Governor Regnitz. Bright and hardworking, he is as strict towards himself as he is towards others. He acts as Class 7's vice president. A traumatic experience in his past resulted in him becoming prejudiced toward the nobility, leading to constant conflicts with Eustace. However, belonging to Class 7 gave him the opportunity to spend time with nobles, very much unlike the image of the nobility he had in his mind, and his prejudices slowly faded away. At the end of Cold Steel, the conflict between the noble and reformist factions escalated into full-blown civil war, leading all to wonder how Machias, whose father is a staunch member of the reformist faction, would react. Emma Milstein, Class 7's class president, and a girl who came from a remote region of Erebonia to attend Thor's on a scholarship. Her grades are the highest in her year group, and due to her considerate nature, she is loved by all. However, she possesses a mysterious power that differs from Orbital Arts and seems to know more than she lets on regarding the secrets of the old schoolhouse in Lohengrin Castle, suggesting that she has a few secrets of her own. At the end of the first game, she revealed that she joined Thor's military academy in order to act as a guide to Reen. She also revealed that she— oh my god, the word extends outside of the text box, come on! Was related to a member of Ouroboros. Just what other secrets could she have? Honestly, I was really considering the final bond scene with like either Emma or like— I don't know, it was like a three-way tie between Emma, Elisa, and Laura. It was a really hard toss-up, but then certain biases of mine ended up me picking Instructor Sarah, but yeah. Eustace Alborea, the second son of Duke Alborea, head of one of Erebonia's 4 great houses. He may sound arrogant and condescending thanks to his noble upbringing, but Eustace himself means no harm by this. As he's more than anyone aware of his own flaws and shortcomings. His mother was a commoner, which made his life as a noble far less easy than one would initially expect. He once opened up about his past to Reen, whose background was remarkably similar to his own, resulting in the two of them becoming closer. However, it was much of a shock to him as anyone else when the Noble Alliance sparked a civil war in Erebonia, and his father was one of the leading figures responsible for plunging the nation into chaos. B. Clausel, a former Jaeger with physical strength and agility far beyond one would expect from someone of her age and stature. After the Jaeger Corps she belonged to, Zephyr, was disbanded. She was taken in by Sarah, the woman responsible for placing her into Class 7. While she initially had trouble getting along with Laura, whose background is the complete opposite of her own, they were able to overcome their differences and become close friends. This, coupled with their field studies and club activities, allowed her to significantly grow as a person. At the end of Trails of Cold Steel, she resolved to fight the Noble Alliance that threatened her new home. However, she was shocked to see members of Zephyr among their forces. Don't worry, we're like a third of the way through this. An exchange student, Gaius Warzel, an exchange student from the Noble Highland, Nord Highland, I can't, this is what happens when I try to speed read, by the way. From the Nord Highlands to the northeast of Erebonia, where he and his people live a nomadic lifestyle. He chose to enroll at Thors to learn more about the world outside his homeland after accepting a recommendation from Lieutenant General Zex Vander of the Imperial Army. He is widely trusted by his peers, and the fact that he was born outside of Erebonia allows him to see things from a completely unbiased perspective. When civil war broke out in Erebonia, he found himself worried about the family he left behind in Nord. Milliam Orion, a girl known as the White Rabbit. Milliam flies around Erebonia on board a strange puppet by the name of Ergilam. She is part of the Intelligence Division and a member of the Ironbloods, an organization under direct control of Chancellor Osborne. Despite being a mere 13-year-old, she joined Class 7 as part of a top-secret mission. She is easy to like, but also has a tendency to carelessly reveal confidential information. Yeah. Civil war breaking out in Erebonia resulted in her losing contact with Claire and the other Ironbloods, and their whereabouts remain unknown. Instructor Sarah Wallenstein, also known as the Purple Lightning, Sarah is a former bracer and the youngest to ever achieve A-rank status. Though she now acts as a Class 7's homeroom teacher, known for being attractive as, as long as she keeps her mouth shut. Also lazy as hell. She leads a slovenly lifestyle, drinking beer at all hours of the day and possessing less than a desirable work ethic. 2 years prior to the events of the story, she was left out of work when Chancellor Osmond forced most of the Bracer Guild branches in Erebonia to close. It was then that Thor's Military Academy's Principal Van Dyke reached out to her, and thus she was given the task of watching over Class 7. At the end of the first game, she fought with the other instructors who repelled the Noble Alliance forces, but whether she came back alive and well is a mystery. Also, as part of her final bond scene, we kind of learned a little bit more about Instructor Sarah's past, where, despite like her personality and everything. She had a very rough upbringing. Why? She was born in North Ambria, a poverty-stricken land where it was really rough for anyone to make ends meet, where pretty much work in the Jaeger Corps was pretty commonplace. It doesn't matter the kind of work, like, the people, or, I mean, it kind of depends on, like, which people, anyways, like, which people have, let me word that. But yeah, like, basically, life was hard and they had to make ends meet. And Sarah just wishes for the best of all of Class 7 and just the youth in general to not live the kind of life that Sarah had to during her childhood and teenage years and stuff like that. So yeah, there's actually a lot more going on with Instructor Sarah than we realize if we hadn't seen, or having seen her final bond scene and all. Toa Herschel, the small baby-faced president of Thor's student council. Intelligent, polite, friendly, and hardworking, she is loved by nobles and commoners alike. Despite being a student, she is even highly regarded by the imperial government, being personally selected to attend the West Emeria Trade Conference held in Crossbow as part of the entourage. When the Civil War broke out and the Academy came under attack by the noble forces, she begrudgingly agreed to allow Class 7 to go out and support their instructors in fighting. But there was no word from her after that. You know, I love how all of these are consistently just like 3 pages. That's nice. Although there's a lot more to say, but we'd be here forever if it went more than 3 pages, because oh boy. I mean, if you want everyone's life stories, I mean, obviously you gotta play the first game. Angelica Rogner, the daughter of Marcus Rogner, head of one of the 4 great houses. She is a second-year student at Thor's military academy. Beautiful, eccentric, and often seen riding her oval bike while fully clad in black leather. She lives a lifestyle completely unbefitting of a noble. She's rumored to have a number of girlfriends among the student population. Where many a man among the in the academy were just left depressed after Angelica took all the girls with her. You should see how it goes in Ruhr and stuff. Fangirls went crazy over her. It's like, oh my god, where's Angelica? Oh my god. Oh boy. Can only imagine. She managed to anger her father with her actions during the terrorist attack in Ruhr, and as a result, she was forced to pull out of Thor's. Before leaving, she entrusted her beloved bike to Reen, asking him to take care of it. To take care for it in her place. George, no. Oh, hey, wait, I don't think... Have we seen, like, this kind of portrait before for George? I don't remember. That looks a lot older, like, with this portrait, because... or no, we've only really seen his model, right? Or maybe we've seen his portrait just initially, but I don't remember. Either way. A poorly second-year... a second-year student who always wears a jumpsuit. His engineering skills are exceptional. Oh my god, the freaking text box, dude. Surely you can, like, extend it down a line or two? Come on. Or is it because of the high-res font stuff from the Sendpatcher that I had? Maybe it's because of that. Considering his age, often leading him to being relied on by his peers. Not only does he care for the engineering building, he's also responsible for building and maintaining Angelica's bike. He has been friends with Crow, Toa, and Angelica since their first years, and the 4 of them often work together to help out the Academy events, or in Academy events. Being that they were all so close, Crow's sudden betrayal hit each of them hard. When the Civil War broke out, he remained with Toa on the Academy grounds. His present whereabouts are unknown. Toval Ran... how do you pronounce that? We never heard of his last name before. Randonur? Toval Randonur, a bracer affiliated with the Bracer Guild, a non-profit organization which specializes in problem-solving, investigations, and any other needs requested by the people. The limitations placed on the guild in Erebony made it difficult for the bracers to do their job. But he keeps doing what he can to aid people with the help of others such as Sarah, hoping to one day restore the guild to its former glory. While overall skilled in combat, his strength lies in his exceptionally customized battle orbments, giving him a reputation for casting powerful arts in quick succession. Oh, he's a caster? Ah! He encountered Reen and the rest of his group on several occasions during the field studies in the previous game, aiding them however he could using his connections and skill as a bracer. Captain Claire Rievelt, a female captain belonging to the Railway Military Police, an elite organization in the Imperial Army. Her incredible problem-solving abilities as well as charming looks have led her to become known as the Icy Maiden. She also doubles as a member of the Iron Bloods, an organization which answers directly to Chancellor Osborne. At the end of the previous game, she was successfully outwitted by C, leader of the Imperial Liberation Front, and failed to prevent the Chancellor's assassination, arriving moments too late. Sharon Kruger, the caretaker of Class 7's dormitory at Thor's Military Academy and a servant of the Reinford family. Elisa, thinking of Sharon as something akin to an older sister, has a difficult time disobeying her. As a veritable supermaid who remains flawless in everything from welcoming guests to cooking, she's helped Class 7 on countless occasions, appearing when they need her the most. Her true identity is known as Enforcer Number 9 of Ouroboros, also known as the Severing Chains. Despite that, she aided Sarah and the other instructors in repelling the Noble Alliance's attack on Trista. According to her, she's currently on leave from Ouroboros, but whether that's the truth or not, no one knows. Elise Schwarzer, Reen's sister and the daughter of House Schwarzer, elegant and polite. She is also a close friend of Princess Alphen, who attends St. Estrella, a girls' school with her. She adores Reen and is known to be surprisingly bold when it comes to him. At one point, she traveled to Thor's Military Academy unannounced to admonish him for the contents of a letter he had written to her. She was in Heimdall when it was occupied by the Noble Alliance, and her present whereabouts are unknown. Oh boy. Okay, we're almost there. I need a drink. I love how we're like an hour and a half in, roughly. Getting all the what's the word I'm looking for? I forget the exact word I'm looking for, but yeah, all the lore we need to kind of remember everything before going into this. Alphen Rice Arner, the daughter of Emperor Eugen III and Crown Prince Cedric's twin sister. Her angelic face has gained her immense popularity with the people of Erebonia. Despite not having the same mother, she strongly resembles Prince Oliver. Being far more whimsical than one would expect from a member of the Imperial family, she also enjoys teasing people, particularly Elise, and makes passes at Reen simply to bask in everyone's reactions. A refresher? Yeah. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Maletta. Maletta. How you doing? Also, oh my god, I cannot read tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me. Much like Elise, she was in Heimdall when the Civil War began, and her present whereabouts are unknown just like everyone else. Celine, a black cat who Emma sneaked into the academy. She has beautiful fur and far more puzzlingly, the ability to use human language. In reality, she is actually Emma's supervisor, and on numerous occasions, she tested Reen from behind the scenes to see whether he was fit to be a Divine Knight's Awakener. Oh, so that's the term, Awakener. Okay. At the end of the first game, she boarded Valimar with Reen, and upon Reen being defeated by the Azure Knight, she ordered Valimar to flee from the battlefield. Bro Armbrust, a second-year student at Thor's Military Academy, and a close friend of Toa, Angelica, and George. And I love how they say literally nothing else for this first page. In danger of being forced to repeat a year due to missing too many lessons, he was transferred into Class 7 and told that if he participated in their curriculum, he would be allowed to graduate. While a well-known slacker, he can be depended on when it counts, and he proved to be a great help to Class 7 as a whole. Just Mel? Oh, okay, thank you. Everything's going now? Hey. His true identity was revealed to be the leader of the terrorist organization called the Imperial Liberation Front. At the end of the first game, he assassinated the Blood and Iron Chancellor, then promptly attacked the Academy on board the Azure Knight Ordine with every intention of occupying it. And promptly kicked Reen's ass because he simply has more experience using a Divine Knight than Reen, because guess what, he's been using that thing for like, what, 2-3 years? Meanwhile, Reen on the spot has only had no experience, except for like a quick hand-to-hand fight before fighting Crow, so yeah, not much we can do there, honestly. Vita Clotilde, the second Angus of Ouroboros, also known as the Azure Abyss. She is served by a lapis lazuli-colored bird who goes by the name of Grianos. During the previous game, she lived 2 lives, one as Misty, the host of a popular radio show, and the other as a famous opera singer known as the Azure Diva. In reality, her primary aim was advancing Ouroboros' phantasmal blaze plan. She revealed her true identity when the Noble Alliance forces began occupying the capital, and from there, she began furthering Ouroboros' plans more openly. Rufus Alborea, the eldest son of Duke Alborea, head of one of the 4 great houses, and a key figure in the noble faction. He is immensely popular, and he receives as much attention in high society as Prince Oliver. He was Eustace's instructor in court fencing, and his younger brother trusts him implicitly. He is on Thor's Military Academy's board of directors, while also loved among the people in his father's province. He is greatly feared by the Reformist faction for his intelligence and anti-Reformist beliefs. He strongly supports the class system, and once the Civil War began, he set about doing his part to restore Erebonia to being a nation where the aristocracy rules over the common people. Enforcer number 10, Blue Blanc, Enforcer number 10 of Ouroboros, also known as the Phantom Thief. Blue Blanc overpowers his foes using a variety of magic tricks and unusual abilities, jovially catching them off guard. He is widely known for appearing all over the continent and stealing whatever he regards as beautiful, with Erebonia being his base of operations. However, because he always wears a mask and is a master of disguise, few have seen his real face, and later regarding his true nature is known. During the previous game, he masqueraded as the Baron and challenged Class 7 to solve numerous riddles, attempting to ascertain their potential. He also quickly gained an interest in the mysterious power Reen possesses. Oliver Rice Arner, the eldest son of Emperor Eugene III, and a dandy known for his refined tastes. Despite being the eldest, his mother is a commoner, and as such he has no right to succeed the throne. He has recently become a major figure in high society and the media, perhaps due to the greater freedom not being the crown prince affords him. He is both the chairman of Thor's board of directors, and is responsible for the creation of Class 7. Fearing the worsening of the factional conflict in Erebonia, he built a Courageous, a high-speed cruiser, and attempted to form a neutral faction. However, he disappeared when the Civil War broke out. Victor S. Arcade, Laura's father, and head of the famous military family. He is known as the strongest swordsman in Erebonia, his nickname being the Radiant Blade Master. He shares Prince Oliver's opposition to the factional conflict, and it is partly for this reason he was chosen to be the captain of the Courageous. Viscount Arcade is the ruling lord of the lakeside town of Legram, and he is fervently loved by his people. He also never hesitates to oppose Duke Alborea, whose province Legram is situated in when he resides. Neither he nor Prince Oliver have been seen since the Civil War broke out. Lecter! How you doing, you bastard? Captain Lecter Arundel. A captain in the Imperial Army's Intelligence Division and a second secretary for the Imperial Government. A member of the Ironbloods, he is responsible for aiding Reen on several occasions throughout the previous game. His carefree nature, often shocking behavior make it difficult for others to predict his next move or his overarching goals. His incredible success while undertaking unofficial negotiations on the behalf of the government and Military has earned him the nickname Scarecrow. Oh. Have we ever known his nickname before? I've never heard the nickname Scarecrow before. Huh. Let's see. Chancellor Gileath Osborne, head of the Imperial government and known as the Blood and Iron Chancellor. Since taking up the position of Chancellor, he was pushed for the modernization of Erebonia, expanding the nation's railway network significantly, and annexing surrounding territories by any means necessary. His approach gave birth to the Reformist faction and earned him great popularity among the commoners in Erebonia. However, it also incited the ire of the aristocracy, meaning that he is in a sense the man responsible for causing the political turmoil in the country. During the previous game, he resolved to go to war with Crossbow for declaring independence and destroying Guerrilla Fortress, but was assassinated before he could finish his speech declaring as much. Woo! Alright. Oh, and I am dropping frames. Oh no. Hold on. I'm sorry, I didn't know I was dropping that many frames. Everything should be more stable now. Hold on, let me go check. Let me go check something real quick to see how long the instability was going on for. My bad. Ooh, that bad. Yeah, there are way too many unstable events. Okay, yeah, I'll go lower my bitrate. Cause that's weird. It shouldn't have been acting up like this. Cause we have 12,000 dropped frames. I sincerely apologize for that. But I mean, the good thing is, we were just reading. So, at least we didn't have any choppy scenes to look at since we only had just a blank thing of text to look at. Okay. So, that should be all better now. Again, I apologize.